Ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Atlanta, Georgia, it's showtime! Introducing to you first the challenger on my right, fighting out of the blue corner tonight, seeking his third division world title. Wearing white trunks with yellow and silver trim, the young star of boxing from Baltimore and representing his adopted home of Atlanta, Georgia. He weighed in at 139 3/4 pounds with a sensational record of 24 wins, no losses. He has 23 big wins coming by way of knockout. Here's the popular and acclaimed three-time two-division world champion, the hard-hitting, current and undefeated WBA super featherweight and WBA lightweight champion of the world, introducing Gervonta.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to rumble!
Please welcome boxing's legendary and only 8-division
Champion of the world!
He is boxing's undisputed #1 attraction, ready to take on the challenge of his career.
Now making his entrance to the ring, the fighting pride of the Philippines.
Wearing red, official weight 145 3/4 pounds. His professional record, 50 victories, including 38 knockouts with 3 defeats and 2 draws. The former lightweight world champion, former super bantamweight world champion, former featherweight world champion, former super featherweight world champion, former lightweight world champion, former light welterweight world champion, and reigning, defending WBO welterweight champion of the world, Manny Pacquiao!
What happens when a living legend steps into the ring with boxing's most feared knockout artist? Imagine the relentless speed and chaotic angles of Manny Pacquiao colliding with the calm, calculated destruction of Gervonta Davis. This is not just old school versus new school. This is experience versus prime athleticism, volume versus precision, legacy versus dominance. One fighter built his name by shocking giants. The other built his reputation by turning lights off. If this fight happens in 2026, the entire boxing world stops. But the real question remains, does speed beat power, or does power silence speed? Pacquiao isn't just another former champion. He's an 8-division world champion, something boxing may never see again. He fought through eras, defeated legends, and consistently moved up in weight to chase greatness. His style was never textbook perfect. It was chaotic brilliance. In his prime, opponents couldn't read him. He attacked from impossible angles, jumped in with explosive combinations, and exited before counters landed. Even elite fighters struggled to time him, and when Pacquiao gained momentum, he didn't just win rounds. He dominated them. That type of experience cannot be taught. It's forged in wars. But across the ring stands a different kind of threat. Tank Davis doesn't overwhelm you with volume. He overwhelms you with fear. Fighters become hesitant because they know one mistake can end their night. His knockout ratio isn't accidental. It's built on timing, accuracy, and devastating shot placement. Tank studies opponents early, stays patient, and waits for that one predictable movement. And when he sees it, boom, the fight changes instantly. He's not just powerful, he's precise. This matchup becomes even more fascinating because both fighters are southpaws. That removes the usual stance advantage. Now it becomes a pure battle of positioning, foot dominance, and lead hand control. Pacquiao thrives on darting in with straight lefts and rapid combinations. Tank thrives on countering those exact entries. So every exchange becomes a high-risk gamble. Who controls distance? Who lands first? Who times the other better? This isn't just a fight, it's a tactical chess match with knockout consequences. Let's talk raw attributes. Pacquiao's speed in his prime was almost unfair. His hands moved like lightning, often throwing 5 to 6 punch combinations before opponents reacted. His footwork allowed him to enter and exit safely. But Tank doesn't need 6 punches. He needs one clean left hand. His power carries through rounds. Even when he's behind on the scorecards, he remains dangerous. That changes everything psychologically. Pacquiao might win minutes of a round, but Tank can win the round in 1 second. Pacquiao early in his career was aggressive chaos. Later, he matured into a smart, calculated veteran who understood pacing. He learned when to explode and when to conserve energy. Tank, meanwhile, has shown incredible composure for a young fighter. He doesn't rush knockouts. He sets traps subtly, lowering his guard slightly to bait attacks, adjusting distance inch by inch. In terms of fight intelligence, this isn't one-sided. It's elite versus elite. Now we address the elephant in the room, age. By 2026, Pacquiao would not be in his physical prime. Speed declines slightly. Recovery time slows. Meanwhile, Tank would likely be in full athletic peak, explosive, strong, confident. Over 12 championship rounds, youth matters, but experience also matters. Pacquiao has been in mega fight atmospheres. He's handled pressure on the biggest stages. Tank has power, yes, but has he faced someone with Pacquiao's unpredictable rhythm? Rounds 1 to 3 would likely favor Pacquiao's activity. Expect him to test distance, bounce on his toes, and fire quick combinations before sliding out. He would aim to build a points cushion early. Tank, as usual, might start measured. Minimal output, maximum observation. He'll be reading Pacquiao's timing, noting patterns in his entry angles. Rounds 4 to 8 become extremely dangerous. This is when Tank typically increases pressure. He begins stepping forward more aggressively, cutting off the ring rather than chasing. If Pacquiao slows even slightly, Tank's counter left becomes more accurate. But if Pacquiao maintains lateral movement and avoids staying in the pocket too long, he could frustrate Tank and force him into riskier exchanges. Now imagine round 10, 11, 12. The crowd is electric. One fighter possibly ahead on points, the other hunting for a finish. Pacquiao's stamina historically has been strong, but Tank's power carries late. One clean shot changes history. Does Pacquiao's experience help him survive late danger, or does Tank land that defining knockout that cements his era dominance? These are the moments where legends are tested. As we enter round 11, fatigue becomes visible. Pacquiao is still moving, but the bounce is slightly reduced. Tank senses it. He begins cutting off the ring more aggressively, stepping laterally instead of following. This is where power punchers become most dangerous, when they smell vulnerability. 1/2 second delay from Pacquiao, and Tank's left hand could land flush. But here's what makes Pacquiao special: survival instincts. Throughout his legendary career, including wars with elite champions, he showed the ability to recover quickly. When hurt, he doesn't panic. He clinches smartly, circles out, resets. That veteran composure could frustrate Tank if the knockout doesn't come immediately. Another key factor that could decide this fight is body punching. Tank is developed into a vicious body attacker. If he invests early in slowing Pacquiao down with hooks to the ribs, it could pay dividends in rounds 9 through 12. Pacquiao relies heavily on foot speed. Attack the legs, attack the body, and the movement gradually fades. Statistically speaking, Pacquiao traditionally throws a much higher volume of punches per round. Tank throws fewer, but with higher accuracy and impact. Judges often favor activity, especially if clean combinations land consistently. So if this fight goes the distance, Pacquiao's output might influence the scorecards, even if Tank lands the heavier single shots. Neither fighter is known for perfect defense. Pacquiao sometimes leaps in with his chin slightly exposed after combinations. Tank occasionally keeps a high guard, but can be outworked in early rounds. That means exchanges will happen, and in those exchanges, the risk level skyrockets. Let's not ignore the mental battle. Pacquiao has faced bigger punchers before and never backed down. Tank has built his aura on intimidation, but intimidation doesn't work on someone who's already fought through decades of elite competition. The real psychological question is, who handles adversity better when momentum shifts? Corner advice becomes crucial. If Pacquiao's team instructs him to avoid prolonged exchanges and stick to hit-and-move tactics, he could secure a decision victory. If Tank's corner pushes urgency and calculated pressure in the final rounds, they might gamble for a knockout rather than risk losing on points. Imagine round 12. Pacquiao slightly ahead on 2 scorecards. Tank knows he needs something big. He steps in, feints low. Pacquiao reacts. And boom! A counter left hand lands clean. The arena erupts. That's the danger Pacquiao faces every single second of this matchup. Against Tank, you're never safe. Now flip the script. Imagine Pacquiao survives the late surge. He keeps moving, lands quick 3 to 4 punch combinations, avoids clean power shots, and closes strong. Judges tally the scorecards. Split decision. The veteran edges it through activity and ring control. That outcome is very realistic if Tank cannot consistently cut the ring. So who wins? If this fight happens at absolute prime versus prime, Pacquiao's speed and angles might overwhelm Tank early enough to secure a decision. But in a 2026 realistic scenario, age becomes the deciding factor. Tank's youth, explosiveness, and knockout power give him a slight edge. My prediction? Tank by late stoppage or dramatic knockout, but only after losing several early rounds. And if Pacquiao pulls it off, it becomes one of the greatest upsets in modern boxing history.